Okay. Yeah, good morning, everyone. This morning we're working on a 2006 Chevy Cobalt 2.2 liter engine. This vehicle was brought to me with a blown head gasket and a cracked head. Now, what would cause a blown head gasket and cracked head? Possible overheating issues. Now, I took this vehicle, we put a new head gasket in it, put new oil, new antifreeze, and a new head. They're all back together. Started it up, drove it, but we still having overheating issues. So I looked on the internet, YouTube, and all other good places, car gurus and stuff like that, for people that might know what the problem is. Gotta take all this good stuff off to get this overheating issue. And I read a lot about fans relay not working and possible thermostat being bad, but when it comes right down to it, what do we got the big problem of this vehicle? What causes the problem of the overheating issue? Okay, we got a bottom radiator hose, which is right down here, hooks to the bottom of the radiator. The whole time the vehicle was overheating, running 190 up here on the top radiator hose. It was only 50 degrees down on the bottom radiator hose no matter what you did. So I changed out the thermostat just like everybody suggested it would be done. And still, to no avail, I was heating up. Overheating, run up 140 degrees. New head, new gasket, everything. Okay, what would cause that in the car? I looked on car gurus. Somebody said, well, would a heater core cause this car to heat up? A so-called expert said no, it would not. But when we break it down and look at how the thermostat opens on a 2.2 liter, the thermostat housing from the front of the vehicle runs through the bottom hose over here. And you can see it right down in there. See, right there. That's where the thermostat housing sits. The heater core hoses run right off the back. This here is the heater core hose. Runs up into the heater core. And then it runs right off the back of the engine. The other hose is the other hose. That runs in from here and out to the heater core. Now if you look closely, you'll see that the outlet from the heater core runs right next to the thermostat housing. So I seen some guy on YouTube say, well, he's going to drill holes in the thermostat, which I wouldn't recommend, to let water flow through. Why wouldn't it be open up? Because we're not getting the heat that we need to open up from the engine. And the whole time when I was running the vehicle, it only got to maybe about 100 degrees here where the thermostat sits. Not enough to open up the thermostat at 180. But this other line sitting right back over here, where my fingers are sitting now, right here, it would get about 180, 190 degrees. Over on this side at this one, we'd run about 80, maybe 100, 120 degrees. Never hot enough to open up. What brought this to my attention, and this will help a lot of people, so I ain't even got to go through this. What brought this to my attention is I was driving the car, test driving it after it, still trying to figure out the problem. Thought maybe what bad water pump. Everybody said bad water pump. Well, bad water pump, you would have been leaking into the engine oil if you had bad water pump, because these are a gear-driven water pump, which the water pump sits back over here on this side of the engine, towards the front, right-hand side of the vehicle. Well, it's a chain-driven water pump, and if it went to leaking, it would leak right into the engine. There was no water antifreeze getting into the oil at this time after I changed head gaskets. So I drove it about a couple miles, got it up about 220 degrees before it ever started heating up, and before it ever turned the fan on, before it ever started heating up the heater inside. So I brought it back, and then I took the hoses off. This hose, the one coming out of the engine, and I put an extra hose on it, and I blew through it after I took it off this one, and I could not blow through it. There lies in the problem. The heater core was plugged, therefore the antifreeze wouldn't flow through the heater core back over here to the thermostat to heat up the thermostat to open it up. See, right here, that hose where the thermostat is. And that is where a lot of your overheating issue is. But what causes overheating issues in the plugged heater core? Well, I was doing some reading and I heard a lot about Dexcool. Dexcool is Chevy's idea of their stuff. I would never use Dexcool after this. I always thought I would try it. See this little bit of stuff here? That heater core was plugged full of all this little stuff that Dexcool leaves after such a long time. That right there plugged it up. So I bought me some, I don't remember what it's called now, but it's toilet bowl acid cleaner is what it is. Poured it in through the top of the radiator hose, took it off here, and took it off here and plugged it. Poured it in and let it sit about 30 minutes. Took it out, put it out where it could drain, and blew it out into a can because I could see what was in it. I did that twice, put it back together, made sure I could blow through it, put it back together, filled her up with antifreeze. I used green antifreeze instead of red with Dexcool. Started her up, drove her, run normal, 190 degrees, most time driving. The max it'd ever get when it was sitting idle and it's 220 and the fan would come on and drop back down to 190. So for anyone that never could figure out why their car, and they got a 2006 Cobalt and it's overheating, and they changed the thermostat, and they changed the fan relay, and they've changed the fan, and everyone's saying it's the water pump. Check the heater core. Make sure you got flow through from this hose to this hose, because it runs to the thermostat, and that in turn heats that thermostat up to open the thermostat, so you can have flow through your bottom radiator hose. If you don't have flow through your bottom radiator hose, it never heats up. If you have no flow through to open the thermostat, and if you have no flow through your heater core through this hose to open that up, it will never open up the thermostat, and therefore you will have an overheating problem. And it might start out slow, especially if you're using Dexcool and you're getting this white plug ups, this white stuff like this in it. And this is hard right now, but when I took it out, it was a gel. Now it's more like a powder. If you smash it now, it's just like a powder. And that there, see, that is what plugged up that heater core. And it took taking toilet bowl acid cleaner to clean that out. And the one I got, I can't remember the brand, but it is made for flushing radiators out on vehicles as well. It comes in a blue bottle. I just can't think of the name right now. But anyhow, there it lies in the issue, and that's why I fixed my cousin's 2006 Chevy Cobalt from overheating. So if you have any issues or any questions on it, possible, but that's what fixed the overheating issues on that. That's what cracked his head. That's what blew his head gasket, because he overheated, because his heater core got plugged up and it wouldn't turn on wouldn't open the thermostat, and that's what blew him up. Hopefully this video is informational to anybody who needs to know or working on their own vehicle and can't find this anywhere on the internet. Otherwise, I couldn't. Why it would be overheating. And they have no routing diagrams for which way the heater core runs, but it runs off the back of the engine and it's separate. And it runs back around through the heater core, back around to the thermostat. So hopefully that answers any questions you guys might have on why your 2006 Chevy Cobalt, even though you changed the thermostat and maybe heater radiator and the fan relay and maybe even the fan, before you go tearing into changing the water pump, think about flushing your heater core. Good day to all, and hopefully this helps.